Well, some of you know me in this room. I've never been a slacker when it's come to work, and I imagine that being mayor will take many, many hours a week. And that's one of the frustrating things about being on council, is to really be effective and really research and do a good job. It takes a lot of time. These are serious issues. Nothing we've come across is a simple answer. You do one thing here, it changes something over there. It takes a lot of time. My children are grown. I don't have any other responsibilities. I have my own business that's operating on its own with a manager, and I'm more than willing to dedicate the time. It's just a great interest of mine, and it would be a pleasure. The efficiencies, as you know, or have followed in the city, I put forth the ordinance because we heard that citizens were concerned that we weren't efficient. We need to look at our budget. They cut the property tax, and I put forward the ordinance that formed the 4 citizen review committees. And that is not just this time, just to say, okay, look, we did it this time. It is set up on a basis where we do it periodically. I don't remember right now if it was every 4 years, but it's a review, thorough review of every department to be done and be headed by a council member and have citizens involved. And as a mayor, that is the #1 job. I'm watching your money. I'm asking you to give me that responsibility, and I don't take that lightly. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask a quick follow-up. Yes or no? Are the citizen review committees finished with their work?
One is, 3 aren't. Okay.
Thank you very much.
That wasn't yes or no. It was kind of a hard question for that.
Thank you. Terry Steele?
Sterl, thank you. That's okay. I was raised to work until you get the job done, and so I'm willing to commit whatever it takes to get the job done, whatever that job is. And I'm certainly aware that some tasks take longer than others, so I'm willing to commit to that. Like Vivian, I think the city review committees are a great avenue for a leader to take a look at what they've found and if there are areas to cut. So I think that the new mayor walking in there is going to have the advantage of Vivian's foresight to say, this is what we found, and if there's fat here, can we cut it or can't we? So I think that that's a great advantage to us, and I think that a good leader would take their recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hilling, did you have a follow-up?
No, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Ann Roberts, please.
Yeah, I get to a lot of council meetings, and some of you I've never seen before. So my question is, before you signed up to be mayor, how many city council meetings have you attended in the last year?
Slowly let you all contemplate that. Before I start with Joe Field. 3.
All but 1.
Derek?
I'd say probably 3 or 4, but I think that you would be misled to think that a person isn't involved. I mean, the council meetings are on the radio, and you can certainly be involved in city government without sitting at a meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank Hurley?
Well, I've been coming to city council meetings for over 20 years. These are all new faces to me. And that's what I see in this city, is a really sad epitaph of the lack of participation in the citizens of Fairbanks getting involved with their government. That's why I'd like to see it consolidate and do away with the city government, turn it into a service area.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mike Brax?
Thank you. Several months ago, as I recall, there was a little bit of an issue about citizens voted to limit the property tax and then put a vote on for the sales tax. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on the root cause of the result of that election. Kind of an ambiguous question deliberately. And then also what your thoughts might be for alternative revenues.
And we start with Terry, we start with Vivian Staber.
You're talking about when we got the property tax voted to 0.5 mils and the sales tax was done away with also? You're talking about
Right.
this fall?
Yeah,
Okay.
There were some people that just thought the voters made a mistake, but on the other hand, they must have had some reason. I'm just wondering what you took away from the results of that election.
What I took away from the results of that election were people were tired of the feeling that they were carrying the whole burden of the city with their property taxes. I think that's what said to me. It screamed, we want diversification. It screamed to me, we want you to be responsible. How are you spending our money? Where is it being wasted? And in response to that, that's where I came back with the committees. Under the diversification, Jerry Cleworth has come up with a cap and a cap. He wants to cap our property tax at 4.9 mils, 20% reduction for us. And your big boxes are still going to pay. They will benefit from a reduction, but they're still going to pay. And underneath that, there are a couple other things he has to make up that revenue. We do have a business license in the city now. We're going to look at that and see if there need to be any changes in how that has been formulated. We're looking really hard at the fees that we have currently because, like everyone, our costs have gone up. When they told me how much paint went up to paint the lines on our streets, I was amazed. We're going to do that too. Take a little bit more of the earnings of our permanent fund because we benefit directly tax relief from what we get from the earnings of our permanent fund.
Thank you very much. I'm going to Terry Steele.
Thank you. You'll get it right. What I took away from the last election was a lack of leadership from our mayor, and I mean no disrespect, but for that to happen and to leave the city in the situation that we were in with no property tax and no way to, clear way to get new revenue, I just think was a lack of leadership. I don't think that should have ever happened. And so that left me with great frustration. I think that certainly when you look at ways to increase revenue, what we're going to be voting on this fall or this next election, the 4.9 mils is a great start that we're going to at least have some revenue. I like the homeowner exemption idea. I think the fact that we have these committees and that are looking into ways to increase revenue, again, with business license fees and our folks paying their fees, and is that an equitable fee that a small business is paying the same as Walmart is paying? So perhaps passing some of that on. And I think the earnings from the permanent fund, while certainly aren't all fair game, I think that's a way to help supplement some of the needs of the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Frank Turney?
Yes, I believe Mayor Thompson, his sidekick, Nelson Miles, went off the deep end. There is another revenue out there, somewhat controversy. It can lower the property tax, and I would do within my power to support the legalization, regulation, and taxation of marijuana. And I believe all your city, state, and federal employees will come out of the closet, and we can regulate it just like tobacco and alcohol. And I think that would probably alleviate some of our problems with our youth, because marijuana is here to stay. It's one of the biggest cash crops in the United States of America, more than corn and wheat. And that's one revenue we can take a look at. Right now in Congress, there is a bill up encouraging legislation to do exactly that. Farm bill, aid bill, right now, waiting for states to join. And that's what I would propose. And we could probably fix a lot of potholes around here in the city and throughout the borough if we had that type of a tax.
And just think, Vivian could sell a whole new type of brownie. Thank you very much. Go to Joe Fields.
Thank you, Frank. I'm glad you elucidated us on that issue. I think that when the voters saw what the options were, they weren't foolish about what they wanted to do. It gave them an opportunity to really cut deeply and vote was impacting them. And I thought that the issue was, I think both Terry and Vivian have described the situation pretty well as far as the mayor and some of the activities there. As far as the revenue side, business licenses have been mentioned, the fees, differences in the bed tax.
Can't hear you. Closer to the mic, please.
Thank you, Jim. Business license, the fees, the exemption process, and I think there's one other that I'm missing, but I think the bed tax has been suggested as a possible rising of that, and but as a person sitting out here